That was a lovely introduction. Thank you very much. I graduated from Bowling Green many, many moons ago. So today we're going to talk about kindness. Kindness, what does that word mean to each of us? Does it mean agreeing with someone just to avoid controversy? Does it mean being nice or giving selflessly without boundaries? To me, kindness just isn't an action, it's a transfer of care. You can be kind even if you disagree with someone. You can be kind while setting a firm boundary. Kindness is the act of sharing a caring nature with the intended recipient. In my field of mental health, I've had the privilege of working with a wide variety of individuals over the years. Some have been eager to engage with a therapist, others not so much. There has always been times to when someone's past negative experience with the profession led to skepticism or mistrust. And as the person sitting in front of them, I have felt the full force of their frustration. What role does kindness play in these moments? Sure, I've always been professional. Healthcare professionals are bound by ethics and regulations to ensure that even the nuanced way that these boards are run, professionalism is just the baseline. Professionalism is the baseline of having a license. And unfortunately, a license can also be a proverbial target for clinicians. But professionalism alone isn't kindness. When I started my career 22 years ago, I was brimming with enthusiasm and passion. I felt honored to do this work. Yet, as the years went on, the excitement began to fade. I became seasoned, as they say. I was still competent, but something was missing. What wasn't missing was the profound sense of stagnation. I realized I wasn't alone in my feeling. The colleagues I had at the time felt basically the same way. It was something that we were jaded. And over time, I noticed a shift in my practice. More appointments were being canceled, the connection with clients wasn't as strong, and their progress seemed slower. Initially, I attributed this to the challenge of the people I was working with, but eventually, I turned inward and recognized the real issue was me. I wasn't burnt out, I would say, in a traditional sense. I still enjoyed aspects of my work, but I had grown colder, more clinical, and less kind. Somewhere along the way, I had evolved into complacency. And that wasn't fair to the people seeking my help, so I had to challenge myself. What changes I had to make? What is it that people would want? Sure, that seemed obvious that they would want therapy, but I needed to dig deeper. The person being helped has the right of having a professional and competent practitioner, no doubt. But wouldn't they also want a provider to be kind? So I decided to make a change. I committed to reintroducing kindness into my practice, no matter how I was feeling or how challenging the day may be. After all, I entered this field to help people, and kindness was a vital part of that mission. Basically, I needed to be centered, grounded, present, and to listen. Life has many distractions, and sure, I have my own life, but I told myself that at that moment, I'm helping someone there, and there's no other issues that matter. Things can wait. This was setting a boundary with myself. That was difficult, but I knew it was important. So I told myself, life can wait, requests can wait. You are only going to manage what you are managing and to slow down. I realized that I would sometimes be walking briskly down the hall to get to that appointment, and instead of just enjoying the walk, enjoying that journey and being present. What happened next actually was profound. By upping my kindness game and being more mindful of my actions, I saw incredible results. Treatment engagement improved, clients were more consistent with appointments, and progress accelerated. In fact, no-show rates dropped by over 60%. But the impact wasn't just professional. I found myself enjoying my work again. That sense of purpose I'd felt early in my career returned, and it didn't require a monumental effort, just intentionality. I allowed myself to get distance, cynical, bored, and which made me more negative. All of these symptoms of apathy waned considerably. So, what does it mean to be kind in this context? It starts with self-awareness. Each day I check in with myself. How am I feeling today? If the answer isn't positive, I identify why. Maybe it's something trivial, like my cat, Bratty, leaving a stain on the carpet. Frustrating? Sure. But important in the grand scheme? Not at all. I remind myself to realign my focus, recognizing that my role as a healthcare provider holds far greater importance than any temporary inconvenience. And Bratty would be fine. He eats his food too fast. He's a glutton, trust me. Next, I envision the interactions I want to have. I imagine greeting a client with a warm smile, listening intently, and offering genuine care. This visualization sets the tone for how I approach the day. I'm prepared to be present, compassionate, and most of all, human. So how about the colleagues that I had at the time? I know that these are some people that work very hard, and at times they can be a little negative in their mindset. I really enjoy working with these people. They all have a great sense of humor, great work ethic. But I had to be mindful and aware that I didn't need to get influenced by negative thinking. If that is where they are, I understand that this is a journey. It's not for everybody. This is a choice. Not to jump on the bandwagon of negativity is what my choice was, but to focus on what we can do to make an impact and to go from there. Well, the results speak for themselves. The simple shift strengthened my connections with clients and renewed my joy in the work. But it didn't stop there. Kindness is contagious. My coworkers noticed the change and began asking questions. Are you sleeping better? Did you go on vacation? Did you win the lottery? Someone actually really asked me that question. No, none of those things. I mean, that was just me being kind. Soon, my colleagues started adopting the same mindset. The jaded group began to discover their passion. The clinic transformed. Even the most challenging clients softened, and the atmosphere became lighter, more collaborative. Burnout was no longer the dominant narrative. How do I know this? Well, here's an example. Everybody seems to get a case of the Mondays, and it is a little slower to start the week. However, no matter how severe my case of the Mondays was, I was engaged, was present, and was mindful. That first few days, I realized it was being noticed as a couple of my colleagues asked me, did you have a good weekend? You look relaxed and well-rested. The funny thing is, honestly, at that point, nothing could be further from the truth. I was just geared up about thinking about the day. I had a full schedule. I had tons to do. But I noticed that they noticed how I'm acting. So my response to them was, today is going to be awesome. I think I got a few funny looks. I mean, actually, I know I did, but not everything has to be impactful through words alone. Action makes it profound. Day after day, week after week, the days were consistently good. I felt fulfilled within my role as a therapist. I would say meaningful is the best way to describe it. That's when I noticed that others were replicating it and taking on that approach. Naturally, nobody came back and said, gee, Joe, you were right. Instead, there was much more talk about how fortunate we are to be doing what we do. It isn't always easy, but we have the privilege of pursuing our passion. But it was more than that. Office drama was lessened. There was more compassion. There was an unspoken standard of excellence that we thought we had before, but not so much. We had a lot of room to grow. Not only did the team feel unified, but I actually looked forward to seeing them and taking on the day. Oh yeah, that was another thing I was known for. The office door was always shut. So if I was free, I had long sent the message that I was not available. So yes, the office door is open when not busy. That unity helped us to congeal even more. I mean, It even felt good to talk about something other than work or hear what's going on in their lives. Those 5 to 10 minutes were breaks in the day, and I didn't get those daily, but were missed opportunities with the door firmly shut. So as you can see, there are many offshoots that this has gone off on. Kindness is simple, yet the outcome of how impacting it is was not what I was expecting. It costs nothing, requires little effort, and yet it pays dividends. So why not try it? Even if it feels silly or trivial, at first, the potential rewards outweigh the risks. Kindness doesn't just benefit from those we serve. It benefits us as well. It restores our sense of purpose. It reminds us why we chose this work in the first place. Let me share another story. I remember working with a client who was deeply skeptical of therapy. They had been through the system before and felt unheard and dismissed. I know building trust would take time, and they were always in the best of mood when I met with them. So I focused on the small thing, being consistently present, showing genuine interest, and never rushing through sessions, not being distracted. I noticed a shift after several months. They began to open up, share more, and to actively participate in their healing journey. What started as a small act of kindness led to profound breakthroughs. The experience reaffirmed to me that kindness isn't just nice to have, it's actually essential. The ripple effect of kindness extends beyond our professional lives. I notice its impact in my personal life too. At home, my interactions with my family improved, my patience increased, I was more present, which is a chore for 4 kids. My wife even commented on the difference. You seem lighter, and of course she meant that metaphorically, not physically. But yeah, saying that, you seem lighter. And then she was right. Practicing kindness isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional. It's about showing up, not just for others, but for ourselves as well. And here's the beautiful thing about kindness. Kindness inspires kindness. When we lead with care, others notice. It creates a culture of positivity, whether in the workplace, at home, or in our communities. I've seen it firsthand in the clinics I've worked in. As my coworkers adopted this mindset, the entire environment shifted. The work became more collaborative, the energy more uplifting, and the results more impactful. Clients noticed this too. They felt the difference, and to me, that made all the difference. Now, I'm not saying kindness is a cure-all. Challenges will still arise, burnout can still happen, difficult days are inevitable, but kindness equips us with a powerful tool to navigate these moments. It reminds us of our shared humanity. It grounds us in the present and helps us focus on what truly matters. Every interaction we have with someone may be their one chance to feel seen, heard, and valued. That's an immense responsibility and a profound privilege. Let's embrace it. Let's be kind to ourselves, to each other, and anybody that we can help. Together, we can create a ripple effect that not only transforms our work, but enhances our lives. So let's begin. Let's be kind and then enjoy the journey we're on. Thank you very much.